There's nothing more determined than poultry with a plan.
This is it, everyone. We're escaping.
Operation Cover Up!
Over 2 incredible years in the hatching, a cast of thousands of pounds of clay. DreamWorks Pictures invite you to join Mel Gibson and the rest of the cast for an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the making of the runaway comedy, Chicken Run.
I thought we tried going under. Over.
Think, everyone, think. There's a better place out there. We're all going to fly over that fence, and Mr. Rhodes is going to show us how, right?
Did you say fly?
It follows the whole formula. You know, rooster meets hen, falls in love, rooster loses hen.
Watch the Academy Award-winning team of artists and filmmakers transform thousands of pounds of clay into adventure as we present Poultry in Motion, the making of Chicken Run.
It's a story of chickens fighting for their independence from a chicken yard. Almost like a Second World War sort of escape movie, like chickens caught in a stalag.
I know our last escape attempt was a bit of a fiasco.
It's kind of an homage to The Great Escape, told with chickens. It's a very eclectic group of characters are imprisoned in this farm run by the Tweedies, and it becomes sort of life and death to make their great escape.
Oh, morning, Ginger. Back from holiday?
The thing about chickens is because they're such stupid animals, so immediately there's this incredibly rich vein of absurdity through it.
Attention!
The farmer's wife requires them to have a sort of daily quota of eggs, and if they don't lay their eggs, they're in for the chop.
We haven't tried not trying to escape.
You know what the problem is? The fences aren't just round the farm, they're up here, in your heads.
The big reason to really do something about the situation is this giant pie machine arrives at the farm one day, and it is literally the Death Star of chickendom.
This will take Tweedy's farm out of the dark ages and into full-scale automated production.
What haven't we tried yet?
The chickens are looking for inspiration, and it comes in from the sky, literally.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a wonderful audience. The name's Rocky. Rocky the Rhode Island Red. Rhodes for short.
Rocky Roads.
Catchy, ain't it?
He's an escaped rooster from the circus who was fired out of a cannon. The chickens believe he can fly.
In fact, you know what they call me back home? You're gonna love this. The Lone Free Ranger. Yeah, isn't that great?
He's meant to be the hero of the piece, you know, the reluctant rooster who is going to teach them all how to fly, and so they can fly the coop, as it were.
You see, flying takes 3 things. Hard work, perseverance, and hard work.
You said hard work twice!
That's because it takes twice as much work as perseverance.
And quite honestly, the material and just the whole concept amused me, and I thought it was pretty funny.
They're organized, I know it. That ginger one, I reckon she's their leader.
Mr. Tweedy, it's chickens, you dolt. They don't plot, they don't scheme, and they are not organised.
The whole process of making an animated film is about building characters, as far as we're concerned. You start with an idea, and then you end up with a storyboard. Slowly, the character builds, but the character doesn't start to live until you start to hear the voice.
Chicken Run enlisted the eclectic voice talents of performers from both sides of the Atlantic, including Mel Gibson as the only American rooster on a farm of British hens.
I thought you were going to teach us how to fly.
Hey, do I tell you how to lay eggs? Relax.
Our dashing male lead, Rocky, is Mel Gibson. We were very excited by the idea of working with, in our terms, a huge Hollywood star.
Hi, how are you?
Well, they called. For what reason, I don't know. I never thought that I ever resembled any kind of chicken, but I guess they thought that they wanted that sound for their rooster.
I think it was really hard for Mel Gibson to imagine that he's a rooster on a Yorkshire chicken farm, you know.
The thing that we kept referring to was Mel's performance in Maverick, because there in Maverick he plays the classic lovable rogue, which is to say he's unreliable, you know, he's shifty, he's dishonest, but he's fundamentally good and he's utterly charming, and that's what we wanted Rocky to be, all those things.
Which bunk is mine?
And Mel has a great voice, great range. He plays with his voice a lot.
I'll give this a whirl. It's not my specialty, but I'll try it.
Right. Good man, much appreciated.
'Cause I'm a wanderer, yeah, I'm a wanderer. I roam around. Oh!
That was good, actually. No.
This is going to be played back to me at some date in the future, I know.
No, it's not.
Yo, go on.
Oh, I'm the type of guy that likes to roam around.
The actress that plays Ginger is Julia Sohala, who is sappy and absolutely fabulous. She has a very feisty quality which matches Ginger really well.
It's not so hard to get one chicken out of it, or even two, but this is about all of us.
You want to get every chicken in this place out of here at the same time?
Where there's a will, there's a way. She's just a great believer in what you can do, and she's an achiever. She's got guts, you know, and I love playing characters like that.
Wing Commander T.I. Fowler, reporting for duty.
Fowler here is played by Benjamin Whitrow, and Ben Whitrow is a classical English actor.
What? You'd open the old crate and tally-ho! Tucks away!
Give over, you old fool. They just want to count us.
Bunty's played by Imelda Staunton, who was the maid in Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, face the facts, ducks. The chances of us getting out of here are 1,000,000 to 1.
She is the mountain of indifference that stands in the way of Ginger and the chickens and freedom, really.
I've never heard such a fantastic load of tripe.
So Mac here is played by Lynn Ferguson. Lynn has a magnificent, genuine Scottish accent, which I must say can be pretty hard to understand, and we make fun of that in the film.
What happened to my wing?
And spring the interior tendon connecting your radius to your humerus. I gave her a wee bit of a tweak, Jimmy, and wrapped her up.
Was that English?
I mean, it's really weird when you hear your voice coming out of a chicken. Do you know, like, if you watch that and I go, that chicken's got my voice. This is us, right? We get in like this, wind her up, and let her go.
That might work.
Babs is played by Jane Horrocks, who is mainly known from Little Voice, and she's a great talent. She's got such a versatile and flexible voice, and she plays Babs, who is the non-brains of the outfit.
I don't want to be a pie. I don't like gravy.
No chicken escapes from Tweedy's farm.
This is Mrs. Tweedy, played by Miranda Richardson. You know, people quake when they hear her voice. The chickens quake. Mr. Tweedy quakes.
She rules with a rod of iron, and she just wants to make money. She's sort of, thin and crabbed and pinched.
Stupid, worthless creatures.
And she's got a sort of vision that life can be different somehow.
I'll teach you to make a fool out of me.
Mr. Tweedy is played by Tony Haygarth, a great British TV actor. He's the one who suspects all the time that the chickens are up to something.
Mrs. Tweedy!
So then we have the rats, Nick and Fetcher, and they are the scroungers, the guys that you get in every prison movie, the guys that can get you anything at a price.
Simply pop it on like so, and as the French hen say, voila!
That is French.
That's 2 hats in one, miss. For parties, for weddings.
Timothy Spall is Nick, and Phil Daniels is Fetcher, and these guys just sparked naturally.
In the quite likely event of an emergency, put your head between your knees and
Kiss your bum goodbye.
They worked us very hard with the voices, harder than I've ever worked on any other animation.
increase velocity!
What does that
You pick me giblets out!
mean? And I think that really paid off because they fitted the voices with the characters superbly, and it's incredibly witty. The timing is brilliant. Oh, my life flashed before my eyes. It was really boring.
The things that I found most fun and most bizarre is when they say, well, we need a section of grunts, groans, whoops, startled sounds, and if you'd just like to go ahead and do that, we'll just keep running the sound on it. So you stand there for, I guess, until they say cut, and you go,
Ooh.
Watch out, you daft old scorn!
No!
Huh?
And then finally, after a long time, you hear this cut come and everybody bursts out laughing because it's say, I think we've got something there. But you've actually been doing it for about 10 minutes, you know, to get this.
The actors had given us everything we needed as a springboard for the animator to really make the chickens fly in a real personality sense.
Rocky, hurry!
Oh, shoot!
Rocky!
I'll be down before you can say mixed vegetables.
All of that Aardman stuff has a tremendously polished look to it. And I think that's why it's a cut above. And it takes forever to do it. So that there's a great deal of patience and artistry involved.
Animation is the secret world that happens between frames. You move the puppet, take a film frame, move the puppet again, take another film frame, and in this very slow and careful way, it builds up piece by piece.
Being able to just move the limbs is one thing. I mean, that's technically how you do the animation, but the real challenge to any of our animators is to somehow make that life seem like it's coming from the character itself.
The secret of Aardman's success comes from treating their animators like actors and giving them the tools they need to translate their performance into the play. This begins with strong character design.
I wasn't actually cast, I was hatched. I guess you could say I was born to play this part.
It's a style that Nick and Aardman have become almost synonymous with. It's eyeballs very close together, big, they call it a banana mouth, and the overbite. Very, very simple design that create very expressive and endearing characters.
The Aardman team has been in the business of creating animated characters for over 25 years, taking the art form of stop-motion animation to new heights.
There's no one else doing what they do. They've got a look about them and a feel and a grace and a sense of humor and a color and movement, which is purely Aardman.
Cracking toast, Gromit.
And the Wallace and Gromit series, you know, with the dog and the guy, I mean, they're hilarious and they're very well done. I mean, it's astounding what they can do with this claymation stuff.
Chicken Run is 3 times longer and easily 10 times more complex than anything the Academy Award-winning Aardman team has ever attempted, including the most intricate stop-motion puppets ever built. These articulated metal skeletons allow the animator to move each character in small, controllable increments, or to hold a position indefinitely.
Although we've had to go into other materials like foam, latex and silicone, and we've made sure that their limbs and their faces are kept as plasticine, because those are the most expressive parts of the character.
No chickens were harmed in the making of the film.
Let her go!
But 7,000 pounds of plasticine clay took a terrible beating. Replacement parts were pressed into service regularly, using 57 unique colors mixed for the production in a converted bubblegum machine.
We have to keep recipes of everything. We keep recipes of all the silicone colours, all the plasticine colours, and we keep samples. And this is the sample board. We have all the names are down here, their beaks colours, their wing colours, even down to their eyelid colour, which again is not allowed to change throughout.
Because the animators worked on many different sets at the same time, multiple copies of each character were needed, including smaller versions for scenes involving the Tweedies. Ultimately, over 500 chickens rolled off the Aardman assembly line.
There are days when if you see another chicken, you'd quite happily scream.
Creating the world that the chickens inhabit was no less challenging. From hand-painted skies to sets, props, and wardrobe, everything was created with an incredible level of detail.
This is Rocky's backpack that he stuffs his cloak into, and this is the small scale one. This is Mrs. Tweedy's egg production record in 2 scales. They use these spoons to dig their way out, but they're lightweight so that they can be rigged to the puppet, and we have to make repeats of everything so that they all look the same. The chicken's nighttime things, ready for when they're getting ready for bed.
So that's Bubs' knitting bag, teeny weeny one.
She helps actually with the escape plans because she makes a tea cozy, which comes in very handy at one point.
Wow, I don't know how they do it. These animated characters pull off some very, very subtle kind of emotional swishes and shifts, good character bits. So, I mean, that's no mean feat.
Sleep tight, Angel Face. The rock's on the case.
It's funny with these characters because puppets are this high, and 90% of the acting is in the top inch, and that's above the nose. It's all in the eyes and the eyebrow. That's where the acting is.
We often animate a scene through ourselves, often using the voice as the inspiration.
And catch Jerry with his trousers down. I like the sound of that. What's the plan?
Making the characters talk required unique sets of mouths, representing the speech patterns of each character.
We first of all record the voices, and then that's broken down frame for frame, exactly how long it takes to say each syllable of each word. And the animator will take a mouth and replace the mouth that's on the character with a new mouth for every single frame of the film.
There's also a thing, my mother said to me this thing where she said that must be terrible for those animators. You mean they spend weeks just listening to you? And I went, yeah. Isn't that great?
Sound effects are critical to enhancing even the best animated performance, endowing the puppet's movements with a real-world presence.
One of the chickens is called Babs, and she forever knits in all the scenes. She's a manic knitter like this, so I spend a long time all the scenes doing my knitting like this. This is Rocky's tail. This is Rocky's hair.
We've had to be wary of how we make the chickens seem small when we're with the humans, and we make the human objects seem massive when we're with the chickens.
For composers John Powell and Harry Gregson Williams, the challenge of Chicken Run was to create music that balanced the emotions of the characters with the comedy. The key to that balance rested in the orchestration, finding just the right instrument to evoke a certain tone.
The choir will be playing kazoo.
Yeah, which I think might be a first. I'm not sure.
Let's rock and roll!
After years of hard work, music and effects helped bring the film into fighting shape.
It's amazing stuff to watch, the intricacy of what actually occurs with this claymation stuff. I mean, what can be achieved with that.
With tools!
And when you realize how it's done, it's mind-blowing, bit by bit.
With all the great efforts of the animators and the model makers, the finished voices and the effects and the music, the finished result is a huge transcendent leap beyond all the parts that have gone towards it.
Ooh. Poultry in motion.
There must have been this incredible joy to know that when it's all up and running, these little characters that you've dreamt up are being your dream, your vision, really.
Oh, shut up and dance!
And I don't know what it is about chickens dancing, and I don't know why it makes me so happy, but it just, chickens dancing, man, can't beat it.
Just go with the flow, gal!
And I'm always astounded by the simplicity and clarity of it. I don't think that I would ever have the patience for that kind of thing, but it takes a certain kind of, I think, genius.
People often say to us that you need a lot of patience to be an animator, but I think the process is always very dynamic. It's exciting. You may have only made 3 seconds worth of film at the end of the day, but what a 3 seconds that is. It usually has a lot of power and a lot of energy, and an awful lot of sweat and tears have gone into it.
We need more power!
I can't deny the laws of physics, Captain. I'm giving her all she's got.
That was good!
to work as a team. Which means you do everything I tell you.
40 animators worked on Chicken Run for 2 years to create over 120,000 frames of animation. On average, each animator managed to complete 2.5 seconds of finished film each day.
You know, they can make that stuff live, which I find, you know, the real gift.
Join Rocky and Ginger for excitement and adventure in Chicken Run.
Look, a